All right, well, welcome back. Obviously, still in the paint booth here, but things have dried up, tacked up, whatever you want to call it. And I believe the paint is hard enough now that it's not going to easily scratch. So I can get back to work on this thing. I'm going to start by unmasking the cab, the truck, get all that cleaned up. And then I'm going to bolt the doors on, the mirrors, that kind of stuff. Door handles, get all that set up. Once that's on the truck, I can go grab my trailer, winch this thing on, and then I'm going to take everything over to the other shop where all the hardware, all my tools, everything's hanging out right now, and can really get to ripping and tearing on this thing and get the truck put back together. We've got a few weeks till Miles of Mayhem, so I've got time, but unfortunately it's not going to put itself back together. So lots of work to do. Well, all right. First things first, I know I'm going to have an issue here because that pulled away. Yeah, I got the catch can a little bit, but that's all right. Oh yeah. The firewall, now that the two colors are next to each other, you can see how much of a difference in paint there was. The firewall is the original color, obviously. It's so much darker. It looks almost brown compared. Color theory. But yeah, no, this looks awesome. I am happy. Oh yeah, I've got an issue here. So tape pulled away from the window seal a bit, so I've got a green seal here. Might be able to use gun wash or paint thinner or Barsol or something to get that paint off of the window, or the window rubber. Touch that up. Oh, shit. The tape just pulled off a bit of my headliner. I was worried about that happening. It's just a cardboard headliner. And you'd think being cardboard it'd be cheap, but no. I think they're about 500 bucks. 350 US or something for a bit of cardboard. That is rough. I should be able to just touch it up with some black paint though. I was worried about that. I don't know what else the guy would have done though. Oh, darn it. Well, I've got everything unmasked. All looks good. Just a couple of issues, things I screwed up on. I'll get you a shot of that. Man, I love that. But just seeing the contrast, the old to the new color, it's wild. I didn't think it was that brown before, but get the two next to each other. Color theory. So I did have one mistake here. The tape has wrecked my headliner, which is super neat. I'll probably just touch it up with black paint because even though it's just a cardboard headliner, it is incredibly expensive. It's all preformed and whatnot. I think it's $400 or $500 for this cardboard. So I'm not really interested in replacing it. So I'll just touch that up with some black paint and a brush. But yeah, looks really good. I'm incredibly happy with it. So time to throw some doors on and get into putting this thing back together. All right, well, I've got the truck back in the other shop here. Some of the body panels are still at the other shop, but at least I can start getting things back together here. I'm going to start on the interior, get the window trim in, the cluster, get all the wiring, all the gauges back up, get the column and the steering wheel in it, and you know, my seat, everything. I'm gonna get that all buttoned up, the windows in it, everything, and then I'll bring the box over here, get the box on it. Then I can put the running boards, rear fenders, front fenders, grill, hood, all that good stuff. I've got a few days worth of work here yet, but we're looking good. As long as nothing goes wrong and I can remember how this thing goes back together, we'll make it to Miles of Mayhem. So I'm going to get ripping and tearing here. I've been working on this thing every night, a few hours a night, you know, whenever I can. I'm hoping this weekend coming up, I can get after it all weekend long. I don't think I'm going to be working, so that's good. But yeah, I will get after this thing because it is crunch time. Not much time left to get this back together. So I don't know. Like I was saying, I'm really happy with the color. One thing I'm not so happy about, you can't really see it in here. I mean, it looks phenomenal in the shop under kind of low light, but you get the sun on it and we got some issues. When I painted the doors, they were laid flat, so this came out really shiny, nice and smooth. Obviously I left the cab on, and I must not have had enough flow or something through the gun, because this has quite a bit more texture to it, so it reflects the light differently than the doors. And when you get it in the sun, two completely different colors. But it is what it is. I'm not changing it now. I'll probably in the future, I'll end up just wet sanding and polishing it, and it should look just the same, fine. But I don't have time to deal with that right now, so it is what it is. We're gonna go with the way it is. I'll actually post a picture here. I don't really want to, but I will. I'll post a picture of how bad it looks. But I'm thinking it won't be that bad once we get everything back together, because most of that area is covered up. I can get in the camera here. Front fenders cover to about there, and then obviously the hood follows that line there. So really, only about that much of that part is going to be showing. So it might not look horrible, and like I said, the light has to hit it just right, and then you're like, oh, that's bad. But yeah, so I will keep going here, keep putting this thing back together, and hopefully we get her done. Obviously, the box is sitting on the frame. I managed to wrangle up a bit of help today to get that done. It's not bolted down or anything, but that's there. I've been working on the interior. I've got the glass trim in for the front window. I've got the back glass in. A few other little things in the cab I've got done. Had a bit of a battle with the driver's door. The inner door latch came off in transport last night, so that was a bit of a battle to get back together because it's not fun working inside the door. But yeah, other than that, it's coming along good. I do think I actually am going to spend just a little bit of time polishing up this front cowl. It's bothering me. Just looking closely at the paint, I didn't really look at the driver's side in the sun, but you can clearly see that the passenger side is flatter than the driver's side. So I just got a little bit of buffing I'm going to do to hopefully even out that color, that sheen, and then it won't look so bad in the sun, because I know it's going to drive me nuts. So I'm going to work on that tonight, and then obviously continue assembling here. So lots to do, not much time to do it, but things are coming together, so we'll get her done. It's been a couple of days. I'm sorry if I'm a bit nasally. I've been battling a sickness, but I have been working on the truck. So I've got the interior back together. Box is all bolted down. Tailgate's on. So making some serious headway. All the wiring's done. Things runs and drives now. I've still got to hook up the cooler lines for the blower. And then it's just rear fenders, front fenders, running boards, lights, hood, all that good stuff. So making some pretty good progress.
chances are I'll have it done probably today or tomorrow. And yeah, can focus on modifying a few other things that I want to get done for the race, but I'll show you how things are turning out so far, and we'll keep working here. As I mentioned, got the interior done, so everything's looking good in here. That's all together. Seats in. Yeah. Much cleaner than before. Everything's resealed, new door seals. So, that's all looking good. Well, I did manage to talk my wife into hand lettering the tailgate, and I'm actually quite happy with the way it turned out. It looks really good. So, pretty stoked about that. Looks awesome. So, yeah, I've just got get these fenders on. We'll start with the running boards, then I'll do rear fenders. Then I'll put the front fenders and grille together, and then get that on the truck. And then the hood, front bumper. Yeah, a little bit of trim, and we'll be good to go. So, I will update you here shortly. All right, I'm making some progress here. I apologize for not filming the whole process of everything, but I'm really just trying to get things done here, and I'm still quite under the weather. Obviously, I've got the running boards on now. I didn't film that process, obviously. Didn't think you'd want to watch me swear for a couple hours to get them 10 bolts in, but making some good progress here. Really all I've got left to put on is the rear fenders, front fenders, grille, front bumper, some trim, and yeah, she'll be back to normal, functioning, fully assembled. So just be those last couple of modifications I want to do before we go racing, but things are coming together. So I'm actually gonna fire up the truck now and back it out so that I can back onto the hoist. That way I'll be able to work on the front fenders and the grille kind of behind the truck, or in this area here where there's just more room to work versus up against the wall there. So I will keep going here, and yeah, I'll try and film more. Like I said, my apologies. Yeah, so now I'll just nurse this thing back to life and get it flipped around on the hoist. Still got to figure out the cold idle. It does not want to stay running until things warm up. Kind of have to keep my foot on the pedal. Surges a bit. Oh, it reminds me, I've still got to hook up my water cooler lines. They're just dangling into the box. They're not in anywhere they can get hung up or caught on anything, so we'll be alright. Oh, yeah, just figured, stalled it. Come on, girl. Really need to spend some time on this too. How am I doing? Air is adjusted, so no idea. So yeah, that just gives me so much more room to work on the front end here. So get to putting those front fenders and grill together and get those rear fenders on next. And we'll basically have a truck. I got all the hood trim on as well. That was a big battle this afternoon. I'll show you that here. So there's the hood all assembled with all its trim. Looks awesome. So yeah, that'll be the last piece to go on once these front fenders and grill are installed, put on, bumper, all that stuff's bolted down. Then I can slide that hood on and we'll officially be done. Now I'm going to attempt to install this rear fender. This little protector goes in between the fender and the box. So I've just kind of electrical taped it in place because they're kind of a battle to get set up. It's got carriage bolts from the inside of the box. So in theory, this shouldn't be that big of a deal. But if it goes like anything else on this truck has been going, it's going to be a bit of a battle. So I will just try and get it set on there without scratching too many things. Okay, I'm already hung up on something. Stay. Got a couple of nuts and washers. Now it might actually be easier to lift the truck up a bit to do this, so I'm not at such an awkward angle. There we go. Alright, I got one started. At least it's not going to fall off now. Okay, I am going to have to jack this up now, get at that bottom bolt, and it's just easier to reach in from the bottom to tighten everything up. So get this truck up in the air and we can go from there. Okay, there's one installed. Two. Just like that. So I just got to go around, tighten the rest of this, and like I said, repeat the process on the other side. That's not bad at all. Okay, so that's got the rear fenders all bolted up, both sides. Looking good. So now I get to do the only part that I've been dreading this whole time, bolting these front fenders to the grill and then mounting the front clip to the truck. It is not something that's easy to do for sure, putting that together, just because it's just awkward. You gotta have one arm inside the fender, another inside by the grill, and it's just not easy to do. And with everything moving around, right? It's really a 2 or 3 man job, but I'll get it done. Well, all right. It's a new day again, obviously, and this morning, I'm just enjoying a coffee and doing a bit of wet sanding, trying to do some color correction or paint matching or whatever you want to call it. Because basically all that's wrong is this door came out much smoother than this cowl. So occasionally, like I showed you in the picture there, when the sun hits it just right, it looks like a different color. Most of the time, looks good. But occasionally, it looks really bad. So with a little bit of effort it's going to take for me to smooth out this cowl, I am going to see what I can do about it. So essentially all I'm doing by wet sanding this is getting rid of a lot of that orange peel, trying to flatten it out, and then once I've got it relatively flat, I'll go ahead and buff it with a buffing compound. I've got a product from Meguiar's I'm going to try out. Not sponsored, not an endorsement. We're not trying to take off a whole lot of material, that's why we're wet sanding. Just trying to smooth it out a bit. I don't actually want to cut into the paint a whole lot. So the trick is to keep everything very wet and clean. I have been sanding for a while. It is definitely starting to smooth out. I probably could try and polish that, see what happens. I may have to come back and wet sand a bit more yet, but this will probably just make a mess. Yeah, it's definitely shinier. I still feel like it's a lighter color though. You know, it came out of the same gun. Same mixture. Just applied differently. This is definitely thicker than that. Oh well. It is what it is. The only option I have is to either paint it again, just tape off, mask off, paint that cowl again, or leave it. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, I'm not really sure what to do here. I'm kind of on the fence. So I've kind of, well, I stopped and I stared at this thing for a little bit, which happens with these projects, and it's usually time to go home when that happens because you're not going to get anything else accomplished. But my dilemma is that front cowl. I tried wet sanding it and buffing it. I got it nice and smooth, got rid of all the orange peel, but it is still a different color. So it had to probably do with the flow, or maybe I had a wrong mixture or something. The worst of it for sure is that front cowl. So really, I've got two options. I can leave it and just deal with it. Hopefully it doesn't bother me. It probably will because it already is. Or I can respray it. So right now, I'm kind of leaning towards respraying it. I'm thinking what I'll do is I just door forward and kind of below the window, the cowl below the window, and then I'll blend it up the A-pillar. I don't know. I'm not a painter, it really can't look any worse than it already does. So I think I'm going to do it. Because yeah, it's just part of the cowl is flat, the rest of the truck's shiny. So I'm going to respray that. I'll show you kind of what it looks like right now. I'll have to rough it up a little bit since I did try and polish it. Give that paint something to stick to, get rid of that polish, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I'll show you what's going on here. So this is what I'm talking about here. Like, it definitely smoothed it out, sanding and polishing it, but I really can't go any further because I started to get through. You can see it's thin enough that the old paint's starting to come through. So I can't go any thinner, and it's just not coming out the same. So I feel like I need to tape off. I'll just tape off the door, obviously cover the mirror that side, cover the windows, take the wipers off. I'll tape off the whole front end, and I'll just shoot the cowl, and I'll try and blend it up the A-pillar, which I mean, can't look any worse than it does already. So we'll get her done. Still got lots of time. The truck's masked off now. I've got a little bit of sanding left to do, just kind of on the side of the cowl here. Didn't quite get it all yet, but kind of roughed up the area that I really want to spray. So I'll give this one more go, and hopefully it turns out this time and I don't make matters worse. So I really don't have time for this to snowball right now. So I will finish sanding here, mix up some paint, and then get to spraying. Hopefully my fan setup's going to be enough here. I've just got the two fans. I'm going to lower the door down on that, so it should direct the airflow out. And yeah, let it cure again. Fingers crossed we get a little better job this time. But as I said before, I am no painter, so we're learning as we go here. Well, I think that's going to be exactly what I was looking for. Got a little braver with the paint gun, and it came out smooth and shiny, just like the rest of the truck. So it shouldn't look awful in the sun now. It should match the rest of the truck. I kind of blended it at the roof, so there might be an issue up there, but it's kind of hard to tell anyway because there's so many compound curves. I don't think it's really going to matter up there. So I'll care less if it's up there than down here for sure. Okay, so obviously I'm repainted now. I'm going to have to let this set and cure, unmask it all, and then I can finish assembling the truck. I've still got time, so I'm still not worried. And I'm actually quite happy with the way this turned out. It looks so much better, and it should match the doors. I'll see for sure once I get the masking off and get it into the light, but just looking at the sheen I can see on the door and the sheen that I've got here, it's going to be a heck of a lot closer than it was for sure. So super happy about that. Looks awesome. Well worth it. I'm glad I took the time to do it now versus waiting and having to rip everything apart to do it again later. But yeah, looks good. So I think I'm going to end this video there. Obviously this needs to cure, so probably next video when I finally get this thing back together and do a final reveal for you. Obviously, you know what the color is, you know what it's going to look like, but next video, we'll get it together. You'll get to see it complete as a unit again. And yeah, all I'll need to do is a little bit of wiring modification, add some weight, and we are off to the races. So I'm pretty stoked about this. It was a good idea. So anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. I'm Ryan. This is 780 Speed and Custom, tuning out.